This is part 2 of the Competency 19 quiz. Number 3. The Texas State Police are looking for a license plate but only have parts of the license plate. The second space contains the number 7 and the sixth space contains the letter R. There are 7 spaces in any license plate with the following restrictions. Okay, so before we move on, let's put in for the second, remember it said the second space contains a 7. So because that's a 7, this implies that we only have one option for that one. Now let's go to the sixth space in the license plate. And that's this one. That has to have an R. So this implies that we only have one option for that one. Okay? Now, let's look at how many options we have of the other spaces that are left. Okay? Because what are we trying to do here? It says down here below this information, how many license plates must be considered by the Texas State Police. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be several. So anyway, in the first space, we can have any digit, but 1 and 2 are excluded. So 10 digits, 0, 1, 2, 3, 9, that's 10, minus 2 of them. So that gives us 8 that we have to consider. In this third space, it's any digit, so that's going to be the 10. We have all the 10. In the fourth, that's going to be A, B, C, D, E, F. That's 6, including the A and the F. That's why it says inclusive. Okay, so that's 6 to consider. Okay. Then in the fifth space, you have M and O, P. And it says including them, so that's going to be 4 to consider, 4 items to consider. And then the seventh space, any letter except for, okay, no, we did that correct. Okay, any letter except for X and Y. So there's 26 letters in the alphabet, minus a 2, that's 24. Okay, now that we've worked through the logic, what are we going to do? We have to multiply all of these together. So let's do that. Okay, and I'm going to multiply the ones in there too, just for safety's sake, okay? 8 times 1 times 10 times 6 times 4 times the 1 times 24. Okay, double check I have them all in because we should have 7 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, press enter. And there's our option. And it is C. Okay, that looked a lot worse than it actually was. Okay, let's try number 4. Okay, number 4. 2 pool cleaners working together must clean an Olympic-sized pool. One worker can clean the pool in 5 hours, while the other can clean the pool in 4 hours to the nearest minute. How long will it take both cleaners to clean the pool? Okay, I've always disliked these, but I am going to say it in a way where you can remember this, okay? All right. So the first guy, and we got the second guy right here. Okay. This is how I do it. Okay. It's a little childish, but it works. And it's correct. Okay. So the first guy, can do one job in 5 hours. But they have to work together, right? So you have to add his work for the next guy. And the next guy, he can achieve one job in 4 hours. Okay? And what does that equal? One job completed in, we don't know how long, X. Okay? So we need to add the left side. Okay? Well, how do we do that? We do that with common denominators. So we're going to multiply those two together. 20 hours plus 4 plus 5. And that's going to equal one job done in unknown hours. Okay? All right. All right. But we know that these added together, that's going to be 9, right? Okay. So let's cross multiply. That means if we cross multiply, you know what? Let me rewrite this so you see it when I cross multiply. 9 over 20 equals 1 over I don't know how many hours, okay? All right. Change colors. If it lets me. Okay. We're going to cross multiply. That gives us 9x equals, obviously, 20. Solve for x. How do we do that? We divide both sides by 9. Okay. And that's x equals, let's take 20, divide by 9. And that is 2.2222 hours. All right, I'm just going to put a repeating over that, okay? All right, so that gets rid of D. Now, all we need to do is subtract out the 2 hours minus 2, leaves us with a decimal, okay? But how much is that of 60 minutes? So we have 0.2222 of 60 minutes because we're trying to figure out how many minutes. And we have 3 options to deal with. So times 60 minutes, about 13. And it rounds down, and there's our option. That's A. Okay. Number 5. Using the diagram to the right, which polynomial represents the factoring shown in the diagram? Okay, so this one is 1, 2, 3 x's. 3 x's plus 1. And over here, going down the side, we have x plus, oops, writing ahead of myself. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's taking a second. Come on. There it goes. That only took a few seconds. Okay, so that is x plus the 3. Okay, we can FOIL those real quick and see what they are, or we can do a double check in our calculator. Let me show you how to do that. If the numbers are larger, you can just match it up. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's clear out. Notice I went to y equals. Okay, all right, clear out the first one. Let's put this option in. Well, we already can see what it is, but let's put in parentheses, x plus the 3, okay? Close the parentheses, open the parentheses. 3x plus 1 and close. Now, I'm going to come down And then I'm going to do a little FOIL on that. Well, I see. I think it's going to start with 3x squared. And at the end, 3 times 1 is 3. So which one would that be? C. You see what I did? I just looked at the end, the front, the first part, which is here to here, and then I looked at the back end. Okay. Either way, I did a little estimating. So let's just put in C and see what happens. 3x squared. This is not a bad way to do things when you're taking a test. Just get the option, compare it to what you know you have. Now, oh, there's one glitch. See over here. I'm going to go, now I have it highlighted. Notice that our Y1 and our Y2, Y sub 1 and Y sub 2, they're the same color. We don't want that, okay? So it's highlighting, push enter, and let's change that color. Let's go, you want yellow? Go with something bright? Let's do that because it'll look good on my screen, okay? Then enter, make sure you go to OK, enter again. Okay, now push graph. Oh, we have to, remember we got to change our window. Okay, so let's take our window and put it back to minus 10. And then both, it'll be minus 10, okay? Minus 10 for our minimum and our Y, put it back at 10, which is standard window. And they're the same. Boy, those went quick. But they are the same, so that is the correct option. Okay, now let's do this next one. Okay, here, if I can get it to go up. There it goes. Right. What we're going to do here with our table, let's read, and we're going to do all this in our calculator. I can already see it. Okay, a group of 6 college students was surveyed about the number of hours the student had studied for a recent mathematics exam. The following table was constructed. To the nearest hundredths, what is the correlation coefficient R? Okay, that tells me we need to make a list. So this will be L1 and this will be our L2. Okay, if you haven't watched other videos with me, or if you have, I hope you remember how to do this. Remember, the first thing we need to do is push Stat, and our edit is already highlighted. Push Enter again, and we need to clear out our list. Remember, clear it out. Okay, that means clear, enter. And I'm going to arrow over and just, okay, when you're on the actual one, let's go up and just do L2 clear. Remember, when you're inside the list itself, you can push delete, you have to push delete, or just type a number over it. But if you're on the L1, L2, and so on, L3, don't use delete because you get rid of the entire thing, and it is interesting to get it back. Not the most fun. I've done it. Okay, so let's go and put in our information in our L1. 2.5, enter, 2, then 3, then 3.5, then 3, then 4. Okay, let me check. How many should I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, oh, yeah, looks like I'm good. All right, I'm going to arrow over and put the other one in. That would be 60, 75, enter, 80, enter, 85, enter, 90, enter, 95, enter. And they're even, so I'm good to go. Now, what do I need to do? You may not remember, but we are going to do a regression. So we're going to have to go to our list and select number 4. But anyway, first, you back out. Okay, now let's go. Stat, go over to Calc, Now go down, see where it's number 4, linear regression. We're going to make a quick linear regression model. Push enter. Okay. Oh, that's far 1. We don't want that. I should have done number 4. Goodness, that tells you something. I'm not thinking. Okay, remember, stat, over to calc, push the number 4. Okay, we're already populated with L1 and L2. Remember, if you're not, let's say we don't have that it's got something else in there. Remember, you're going to push second, go down to the actual numbers, and you'll see them in blue. Okay, so I'm going to put my L1 back. Now, let's arrow down. Remember, if it doesn't let you arrow down, then just push enter. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put our equation in. We're going to store it in our equations, which would put it in our y1. So how do we do that? Push vars, arrow over where it says y vars, and see it has number 1 function entered. Push enter, and we want to put it in the y1. Okay, now enter again. Now, we already have our R value. Well, that gives us option C. But the reason why I saved it for you, okay, so let's go back to our Y1. See, it's saved over it, but we need to get rid of our last part of our problem. There. Just in case you didn't watch other videos with me or you don't remember, if you need the graph of it, this gives you the graph. Okay? For some reason you needed it, but we don't need it, so we can move on. Okay, so what we're doing, okay, this guy, we don't need a calculator, anything for this. Let's read it. 2 boats head towards a sandbar. That must be the sandbar. Okay, as indicated in the figure below, which formula should be used to calculate the distance between the 2 boats when they land, and how far apart will the boats be when they land? Okay, look at your options. They don't want us to really calculate. We just have to select the correct one. Well, let's think about this. Look at the information that you have, okay? All right, you do not have a right triangle. This is not 90 degrees. Get rid of A. Distance formula. Well, the distance formula basically is the Pythagorean theorem. So, and I don't have anything to use really for the distance. So that's not going to work. Law of sine. Okay, here's a difference between the law of sine and law of cosine. For the law of sine, you need angle, side, angle on your triangle. We don't have that. You need 2 angles, okay? At least a 90-degree angle and another one. That's not going to work. But for the law of cosine, we need a side, angle, side, which we have. So that's the correct one. Like I said, you don't need a calculator for this one. You just need to know what it requires. Okay, that's the end of this part 2 video. Remember to subscribe, share us, and like us. Thank you. Hope I see you in the next video.